My girlfriend and I found ourselves within the pages of a novel. She transformed into the cherished daughter of a noble family, while I became a loyal guard to the crown prince. After 5 years, I discovered a way to return home. However, she revealed that the system compelled her to pursue the crown prince, and failure in this endeavor would lead to her annihilation. I inquired of the system, "Is this true?" The system instantly erupted in fury. "What system does she possess?" "I am the sole system you have." 1. The resounding echoes of the system's malfunction lingered in my mind. Before me stood Lu Yen, her eyes brimming with tears. "A-chun, my demise is of no consequence, but I cannot bear to implicate you. We still have family and friends. We must return alive." Each word was a testament to my worth, to our shared cause. Were it not for my prior knowledge of the truth, I would surely be the one weeping in this moment. For 5 years, I have risked life and limb to protect the crown prince, teetering on the brink of death countless times. The crown prince, with his deep-seated cunning and sinister heart, revels in the torment of others. Throughout these 5 years, Lu Yen has witnessed my descent and resurgence. Yet, amidst this enduring connection, she has inexplicably developed feelings for him. Unwilling to surrender, I inquired, Yen, what constitutes a successful strategy? If it is to ensure his ascension to the throne, I can assist you, or I can wait for you. Lu Yen shook her head, tears streaming down her face, as if struggling to articulate her thoughts. No, it is not that simple. My heart hung in the balance, and my throat felt parched. Lu Yen averted her gaze, unable to meet my eyes, and sobbed. The system demands that I marry him, to become the crown princess. Thunderstruck, I felt as though I had been struck by a bolt from the blue, momentarily at a loss for words. Marry whom? The crown prince, Li Yen? She actually wishes to wed him? Stunned, I shook my head in disbelief, stammering, "You know what kind of person he is, Lu Yen. This is not the modern era. It is not a monogamous society. He will not have only you as his woman." Lu Yen cried and shook her head. "Please, do not speak of this any further. A-chun, your mission is complete. You should return. Once I have successfully married him, I will return as well. Rest assured, there will be nothing between us, and I will not betray you. It is merely a task." She wept and ran away, her silhouette revealing her resolute determination. In an instant, the sky darkened, and torrents of rain began to pour. My heart swelled with anguish as I struck the wall with my fist, oblivious to the pain. 5 years, and this is the outcome. The system sighed gently. "Host, may I inquire if you wish to return?" 5 years ago, Lu Yen and I were abruptly bound by a system. It tasked me with protecting the prince of this dynasty, eliminating all threats to him, and ensuring his ascension to the throne. Upon success, Lu Yen's crippled legs would be restored. Without hesitation, I agreed. Lu Yen and I had been together for 3 years. She lost her legs in a car accident, falling into despair. I feared that one day, she might slip away quietly. For 5 years, I covertly eliminated all threats to the crown prince. The emperor lay on his deathbed, awaiting his final breath. He would soon ascend the throne without impediment. Just last night, the system informed me that if Lu Yen and I were to perish at the stroke of midnight on the first day of next month, I could return to our original world. Overjoyed, I shared this news with Lu Yen, only for her to dismiss it, believing I was jesting. After a moment of silence, I coldly responded, "Return." I soaked to the skin, made my way back to the Eastern Palace. The steward, flustered, rushed towards me. "Guardian Lu, you have finally returned. The crown prince is searching for you." I cast a glance at my still dripping clothes and rasped, "Allow me to change first." "What are you changing for? The crown prince has been looking everywhere for you, and there are urgent matters to attend to. Hurry. Do not keep him waiting." 2. I was ushered into a pavilion. By the fish pond, a tall man casually tossed fish food into the water. Lu Yen leaned against his shoulder, delicate as a willow. The man glanced at me, his tone laced with amusement. "Why are you so drenched? Did you not find shelter from the rain?" I noted the tension and implication in Lu Yan's eyes. A cold smile crept onto my lips, yet I maintained a respectful demeanor. The rain was too heavy. I had no time to seek refuge. The crown prince gave a dismissive hum and, after a few idle exchanges, turned serious. "On the first day of next month, I shall wed Yen as the crown princess. I recall that you share a close bond. Such a coincidence on the first day of the month?" The crown prince's piercing gaze flitted between Lu Yen and me. Lu Yen shot me a glance and replied, "Lu Chun is your close attendant. Am I not always accompanied by him when I come to see you?" If that constitutes a close relationship, then my rapport with the servants in your household is equally strong. The crown prince chuckled lightly, affectionately pinching her nose. Lu Yen lowered her eyes, but her gaze held a warning as it flickered toward me. After 5 years, she had long grown accustomed to the power dynamics here. I forced a bitter smile. Miss Lu is the daughter of a noble family. I am merely a servant. Our connection is hardly noteworthy. Lu Yen exhaled a sigh of relief. The crown prince's lips curled into a slight smile, though it did not reach his eyes. In that case, I can rest easy. I entrust the arrangements for my wedding with Yen to you. Ensure it is executed splendidly. My throat felt dry. A pang of pain struck my heart. Understood. Nightfall enveloped the palace. I changed into dry garments and lightly leaped onto the rooftop, taking my turn to keep watch with a fellow guard. Noticing my flushed face, he reached out to touch my forehead. You are burning up. Why are you here when you should be resting? I will take your shift tonight. I shook my head. No, I can manage, you should rest. The night breeze was cool yet invigorating. Suddenly, my companion excitedly nudged my arm. Look, look, Miss Lu and our master. Stunned, I paused, and as I discerned the scene below, a surge of blood rushed to my head. I covered the man's eyes, gritting my teeth. Get down. If the crown prince sees you, it will be the end. He chuckled and vanished into the darkness. I squeezed my eyes shut, suppressing the turmoil within my chest. Below, the conversation continued. You and Lu Chen truly have nothing? The way he looks at you is anything but innocent. If he finds me unclean, does that mean I cannot harbor feelings for him? Yen, I like you. Otherwise, why would I frequently appear before you? The crown prince chuckled with delight. Yet, I felt as though I had plunged into an icy abyss. Lu Yan's sudden change of heart left me unprepared. Now, in the stillness, I realized that the signs had been evident all along. When we first arrived in this world, she was unaccustomed to everything. She struggled with the lifestyle here and the treachery that surrounded us. She expressed a desire to return home. For 5 years, I had exerted every ounce of energy to clear the path for the crown prince, yearning to bring her home sooner. Each time she visited, she made it a point to greet the crown prince. In those early years, I was always the first person she sought. Yet, I did not know when her first glance had shifted to the crown prince. I kept watch throughout the night, the sounds below finally subsiding in the early hours of dawn. The crown prince called for me. He appeared disheveled, a red mark on his neck, his expression one of satisfaction. Take Yen back to the residence. We will send the marriage proposal tomorrow. Understood. I hung my head, only hearing their gentle farewells. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Lu Yen rise onto her toes. Then I shall take my leave. See you tomorrow. Exiting the crown prince's palace, the streets remained eerily quiet. Lu Yen walked ahead while I trailed 3 meters behind. Suddenly, she halted, turning back with red eyes, looking at me with a sense of grievance. Why do you not speak to me? I remained silent. Is it because I am to marry the crown prince? Chen, you know this is merely a task. She extended her hand, yearning to touch me. I instinctively stepped back. Though the street was nearly deserted, it was still public. Chen. A tear fell from Lu Yan's eye as she bit her lip. Had it been any other time, I would have been overwhelmed with compassion, comforting and embracing her. But now that was impossible. She was the crown prince's fiancée. Noticing my indifference, Lu Yen forced a self-deprecating smile. As her tears mingled with her smile, I felt an overwhelming sense of pity. I know you are hurting, but Chun, I am also doing this for our future. You need not worry. I will not betray you. 3. A dull ache throbbed in my palm, and I released my grip, my voice hoarse. Last night I was on the rooftop. Lu Yan's face drained of color, her expression vacant. Chen, I interrupted her, stating, I understand that this world is not like ours. A moment's carelessness could cost us our heads. Rest assured, I will not dwell on it. Lu Yen smiled, a look of relief washing over her. She leaped into my arms, clinging tightly to my waist. I knew my Chan would be the most considerate. In this world, everything that transpires is a matter of necessity. Once we return, Chan, let us wed. My heart trembled, a peculiar numbness enveloping me, yet I felt no joy as I had anticipated. In the original world, I had proposed to Lu Yen numerous times, but each time she had declined. I understood her reluctance stemmed from a desire not to burden me. Yet, I was indifferent to such concerns. My love for her remained unwavering. Now she had finally relented, yet I found it difficult to feel elated. Ashen. I responded with a soft mm. As for what lies ahead, we would discuss it later. What if the system malfunctions and prevents our return? I had expected Lu Yen to feel disheartened, yet when she heard we might not go back, her eyes momentarily sparkled with brightness. A weight settled in my chest. It turned out she did not yearn for a return. After all, here, she was a daughter of nobility, affluent and powerful, soon to marry the crown prince and become a princess, possibly even an empress, second only to the emperor. In the original world, we were merely laborers. Were I in her position, I too would hesitate. In recent days, Lu Yen had been visiting the Eastern Palace almost daily. The crown prince, concerned for her well-being, insisted that I accompany and escort her. While she played chess with him, I stood guard nearby. When she strolled through the gardens with him, he required my presence as well. She claimed her actions were merely to expedite her conquest of his affections. As the system dictated, she must win his love. I awakened the dormant system. Did you utter such words? The system shook its head vehemently. I have only interacted with you. I have not sought her out. A cold smile crept onto my lips. It was I who had informed Lu Yen of the system's existence, and now she had adeptly applied it. On one occasion, the crown prince took Lu Yen to Guanshan Temple to pray for the emperor's blessings. As we descended the mountain, a horde of assailants in black suddenly surged forth from all directions. I, along with the other guards, shielded the crown prince behind us. Outnumbered, we suffered heavy losses in the ensuing skirmish. In my efforts to protect Lu Yen and the crown prince, I was struck by a poisoned blade, and blood poured from my wound. By the time reinforcements arrived, I could no longer endure the pain. I fell to one knee, collapsing. In the throes of agony, I caught sight of Lu Yen, her eyes swollen with tears, her worry and heartache laid bare. Yet those emotions were not for me. They were for the crown prince, who had merely been frightened. A bitter smile crossed my lips as I slowly closed my eyes. The system sighed with a sense of regret. Brother, I'm sorry. I brought you to this world, only to have your girlfriend taken from you. I had come to this world for Lu Yen, yet I found myself separated from her here. If this were but a dream, I longed to awaken swiftly. The Lu Yen in my dream was too cruel. I wished to see the real Lu Yen, the one who loved me and would surprise me. My eyelashes fluttered, and I heard shouts nearby. By the heavens, you're finally awake. What a fortuitous day. It is the crown prince's wedding day. Let us bask in the joy. After a moment, my thoughts began to coalesce. I was not dead? Dead? No, you are very much alive. If that is so, why were his eyes red again? The one tending to me was a brother on night watch, ranked 7th among the crown prince's attendants, whom we called Shao Qi. Shao Qi informed me that the assassins were aligned with the 6th prince, the crown prince's greatest rival. 6 months prior, he had been accused of treason and exiled by the emperor. I never imagined he still harbored ambitions for the throne. The sun shone brightly outside, and red silk hung high. What day was it? Why was it so lively? It was the crown prince's grand wedding. You have been asleep for 5 days, but fortunately, you woke just in time. However, you cannot drink, for the poison from that blade is quite potent. Do not worry, the crown prince will assuredly save you. A wedding? The first day of the month? Today was also the day I was to depart. My lips quivered. The last scene before my unconsciousness was Lu Yan's tear-streaked face. Thus, I inquired, in these days of my unconsciousness, has Lu Yen come to see me? Or does she know I was poisoned? Shao Qi lowered his ears, a hint of sorrow in his demeanor. Lu Chun, we all know you have feelings for Miss Lu, but now she is the crown princess. It would be best for you to relinquish your hopes. Did she come? I asked stubbornly. Shao Qi shook his head. No, the crown prince was frightened, and she has remained by his side throughout. Not once did she visit. My heart sank heavily. I forced a self-deprecating smile. What was I truly hoping for? Lu Yen had indeed changed her affections. She had fallen for another. Why was it so difficult to acknowledge this truth? Lu Chen, is it so difficult? I was to return. On my final day, I wandered through the Eastern Palace, where I had lived for 5 years. Every brick, every tile, every blade of grass was a tangible reminder of those 5 years. The main hall was bustling, and I stood at the back of the crowd, watching as Lu Yen and the crown prince bowed to heaven and earth. The final bow, the couple's mutual vow. I had envisioned this scene countless times. Lu Yen adored traditional weddings, and I had secretly looked at numerous bridal gowns. Yet today the groom was not I. Once the ceremony concluded, Lu Yen was escorted by her maid to the bridal chamber. Suddenly, I felt a sharp pain in my abdomen. A mouthful of black blood erupted, and had it not been for timely support, I would have collapsed to the ground. Brother Chun, what brings you here? You must be exhausted. Come, let us return. You need to rest and recuperate. Xiao Qi spoke with irritation, yet his eyes avoided mine. He understood I was nearing death. Now that Miss Lu was the crown princess. Brother Chin, do you wish to live? He looked at me earnestly. I was taken aback, then nodded. I do wish to live. Xiao Qi stomped his foot. Then cease your affection for Miss Lu. It may cost you your life. I chuckled, attempting to comfort him. I no longer harbor feelings for Miss Lu. I merely seek to observe the commotion. Xiao Qi was unconvinced. Truly, I have never harbored improper thoughts regarding Miss Lu. Oh, is that so? Lu Yan had appeared before me, her gaze fixed upon me as she dismissed Xiao Qi. I steadied myself against a rockery, struggling to maintain my balance. She approached slowly, stepping on dry twigs, her red attire glaring like a specter come to claim a life. You have never had any improper thoughts about me? Chun, are you still angry? Her exquisite makeup lent her an air of sharpness. I averted my gaze, weakly replying, no, liar. Lu Yan grasped my arm, forcing me to meet her gaze. Look, this bridal gown is for you. Chun, upon our return, shall we arrange our wedding just like today? Her eyes brimmed with longing, eagerly awaiting my affirmation. Seeing my hesitation, her fervent hope began to wane. She sighed softly, Lu Chun, I do not wish for it to be this way. The system compels me to act thus. If you must place blame, direct it towards the system. She continued to shift the blame. The system's low curses echoed in my mind. She is wronging me, Lu Chun. Tonight is your only chance to return. Should she miss it, she will never return. Only chance? I smiled faintly. Lu Yan asked what I found amusing. I replied, since you have already married the crown prince. Have you succeeded in your conquest? Lu Yan pursed her lips, shaking her head under my gaze. No, he does not yet love me. It seemed she did not wish to return. Pain surged once more in my chest, and beads of sweat formed on my forehead. Lu Yan appeared concerned but did not utter a word. She was aware of my injury and the poison coursing through me, yet there was no trace of care in her demeanor. She feared I would jeopardize her position as crown princess, perhaps even empress. Lu Yan had snuck out and could not linger long. However, as she prepared to leave, the crown prince, clad in red, blocked her path. Yan, why are you with Lu Chun? A flicker of murderous intent flashed in his eyes, quickly replaced by a mocking demeanor. Lu Yan's complexion turned pale, her expression a fleeting panic. Yan, am I correct in believing that Lu Chun still harbors feelings for you, thus coercing you to come here? She cast a glance in my direction, one filled with compassion. Instinctively, I clenched my fists. In the next moment, Lu Yan averted her gaze, lightly nodding her head, appearing on the verge of tears. Yes, it was the guard Lu who coerced me. I released my grip, a bitter smile playing on my lips. Yet the crown prince was visibly enraged. With a sweeping gesture, he summoned several guards. Lu Chun, as a guard under my command, how dare you threaten the crown princess? In consideration of your previous service, I shall bestow upon you 50 lashes and have your salary for 6 months. Do you confess? I glanced at Lu Yan, who was hiding behind the crown prince. She furrowed her brow, torn between compassion and resolve. The person before me was becoming unrecognizable. Was she truly Lu Yan, or merely a noble lady from the mansion bearing her likeness? At the moment our eyes met, Lu Yan swiftly looked away. The crown prince's gaze flickered between us. Aware of my unjust suffering, he knew of my affections for Lu Yan. Yet he treated this as a mere game, asking her if such punishment was acceptable, if it would cause her any pain. Lu Yan's expression shifted slightly as she shook her head and cried, Yan, I am your crown princess, naturally aligned with you. Lu Chen's audacity to defy authority warrants this minor punishment. Why should I feel pity for him? The lashes came down like raindrops. I gritted my teeth, unwilling to utter a sound. The crowd around us murmured and pointed, and I strained to lift my head, determined not to miss the expression on Lu Yan's face. I observed her standing elegantly beside the crown prince, her eyes cold as ice. I vowed to etch this moment into my memory. I would never forget the pain and humiliation bestowed upon me by Lu Yan today. With a sudden cough, blood spilled from my lips, and my head drooped in resignation. Yet the lashes continued, 50 in total, neither more nor less. As twilight descended, without the crown prince's command, none dared to assist me. I lay bloodied from day until night, until the guests dispersed, leaving an eerie stillness behind. 2 guards dragged me, one on each side, to the crown prince's chamber, the crimson stains marking the ground. I collapsed, barely conscious, as the guards departed, and a maid slipped out of the chamber. Before long, sounds of intimacy echoed from within. The crown prince was deliberate in his actions. He was aware of my feelings for Lu Yen and sought to humiliate me further. I drew breaths that felt increasingly labored. Perhaps when one nears death, their senses sharpen. Lu Yan's voice, sweet and seductive, reached my ears. Yen, I have finally married you. This cannot be a dream, can it? Foolish. Today is our wedding day. Did you not mention feeling fatigued? Yen, tell me, are you and Lu Chun truly innocent? Lu Yen chuckled lightly. Of course, we are innocent. He has affections for me, but I am a noble lady, and he is merely a servant, unworthy of even carrying my shoes. If not for his usefulness to you, I would not have feigned civility for all these years. Now that he has cleared your path, Yen, you have nothing to worry about. However, I remain only for your sake. You must not disappoint me. Laughter, unrestrained and callous, resonated from within. I felt as though I had descended into an ice cavern, chilled to the bone. I could not ascertain when Lu Yen had cast aside the ideals of her former world. She no longer espoused equality nor clamored for a return. Instead, she began to command the servants with an air of entitlement, assuming the role of a noblewoman she had once claimed to despise. At that moment, the system's voice echoed in my mind. Host, it is almost the hour of the rat. Endure a little longer. I murmured in acknowledgement. Finally, I would return. Just before my consciousness faded, a sudden, searing pain shot through my hand. I opened my eyes to discover a long sword plunged into my palm. Yet I could not muster even a whisper of protest. The crown prince, his face shadowed, knelt beside me, yanking my hair. The pain in my scalp paled in comparison to the agony in my hand. Look at you now. Do you think Yen would be terrified and have nightmares if she saw you like this? I was drenched in blood, my body filthy, reduced to a state worse than that of a beggar. Lu Yen draped a cloak over the crown prince, gazing down at me as if I were a mere insect. Yen, today is our wedding night. Do not let this wretched person ruin our joy. Lu Chen, return home and recover. Once you heal, you may serve the crown prince again. I hung my head, silent as a corpse. Lu Yen frowned and coldly declared, Lu Chun, as a guard, why do you put on airs? I command you to leave. She impatiently kicked my shoulder. I remained motionless. It was then that Lu Yen realized something was amiss. Ignoring my filth, she pushed me onto my back and gazed at my tightly shut eyes, trembling as she reached to check my breath. The next instant, she fell to the ground, disbelief flooding her expression. He is dead? Lu Chun, Lu Chun. The night was eerily quiet. Lu Yan's eyes brimmed with tears, her lips trembling. At that moment, a large hand rested on her shoulder. The crown prince lifted her, whispering, if he is dead, then so be it, he was merely a guard. Yen, are you truly so attached to him? Lu Yen jolted awake, shaking her head. No, I am not. I am simply afraid. Her eyes were filled with terror, yet she stubbornly refused to admit her feelings. The crown prince smiled with satisfaction. My lifeless body was discarded in a mass grave, surrounded by savage beasts. After 5 years of service to the crown prince, he would not even grant me a complete corpse. I had witnessed his ruthless nature over these 5 years. Whenever I complained to Lu Yen, she feigned sympathy. Yet now, fully aware of the crown prince's true character, she still chose to marry him for power. After the people departed, another group came to retrieve my body, burying it beneath a pear tree. I had become a wandering spirit. The system informed me that the portal had yet to open. Only when it did would I return to my original world. Half a month after the crown prince's wedding, the late emperor passed away. Those led by Lu Xiang ensured the crown prince's ascent to the throne. Lu Yen was crowned empress. On the day of her coronation, she and Li Yen received the homage of the ministers, her face radiant with joy. She had attained the power she desired. Meanwhile, the portal opened, and I returned to my original world. The first thing I did upon returning was to clear out everything that reminded me of Lu Yen. I chose to view the past 5 years as a mere dream. Now that I had awakened from this dream, I would not look back. In the first month of my return to the original world, I reorganized my living space and reconstructed the timeline. I discovered that although 5 years had passed for me, only 5 months had elapsed in the original world. This meant I had only been absent for 5 months. When I gathered with friends, they inquired about my whereabouts during that time. I replied that I had broken up and taken some time to clear my mind. My friends were astonished. When did you start dating? I was momentarily taken aback. Their expressions did not suggest deception. Tentatively, I mentioned Lu Yan's name, and my friends looked even more puzzled. Is there such a person in your life? Inside, I felt a tumult of emotions. That night, I summoned the system. Upon receiving an explanation, I understood that Lu Yan and I were intertwined. Had she returned with me, nothing here would have changed. If I had successfully won her over, her legs would have healed. But she did not return, missing her only opportunity. Now, she existed only in that era, forgotten by all but me. Due to the unfulfilled promise of a reward, the system facilitated a compensation of 100 million for me. I gazed at the funds in my account, momentarily engulfed by a sense of bewilderment. As I gradually acclimatized to this reality, I resigned from my job and embarked on a journey of exploration. Upon my return, I exchanged my residence for that particular house associated with Lu Yan. In the year of my 30th birthday, my mother began urging me to marry. 2 years had elapsed since that fateful journey through time. By my calculations, over 20 years must have passed in that realm. Time indeed flies, yet the memory of Lu Yan's wedding day lingers as vividly as if it were yesterday. I shook my head, forcing myself to cease such thoughts. I acquiesced to my mother's arrangements for a blind date, albeit unexpectedly. My date turned out to be my first love. Now 30 herself, she had devoted the past few years to her career, giving little thought to marriage. As we reminisced about the past, familiarity blossomed between us. They say first loves are the most beautiful, and being with her now fills me with a newfound lightness. One day, after our date, the system that had vanished for 2 years suddenly reappeared, claiming that Lu Yan wished to meet me. For the first time, I declined. She was now an empress, exalted above all. Surely, she would not remember one as insignificant as myself. Yet, the system's persistent appearances became a source of annoyance. I relented, stating just this once, and then you shall disappear. The system acquiesced. I envisioned Lu Yan adorned in exquisite garments, bedecked with jewels, accompanied by a multitude of palace maids and eunuchs. She, untouched by the mundane, basked in the opulence she had always desired. Yet, the Lu Yan before me was unrecognizable. I doubted the system's credibility, but it assured me that this was indeed Lu Yan. I furrowed my brow, taking in the dilapidated walls, overgrown weeds and scurrying rats. This was where Lu Yan now resided. The woman huddled in the corner, disheveled. Was she truly Lu Yan? Absurd. As I stepped on a dry twig, the woman flinched at the sound, then cautiously raised her head. I gasped in shock. Lu Yan had always cherished her beauty, yet now her once fair complexion was marred, riddled with wrinkles, and bearing several scars. Upon seeing me, Lu Yan froze. Chen? The realization struck me. This was indeed Lu Yan. I inhaled deeply, shock giving way to a profound calm. Is it truly you? Chen, you have come to take me home? Haven to you? I have waited so long for you. Her voice was hoarse, reminiscent of an elderly person. She excitedly braced herself against the wall yet did not rise. Chen, I was wrong. I wish to return with you. Her eyes brimmed with tears, devoid of longing for power, replaced solely by a yearning for me. Confusion engulfed me. How have you become this way? Lu Yan touched her face, tears streaming down. She struggled to articulate her plight, but ultimately, she spoke. After Li Yan ascended the throne, he crowned her empress. For 3 years she basked in glory and wealth. However, Li Yan had been secretly undermining the power of the imperial household, using Lu Yan merely as a pawn, for his heart lay elsewhere. Once the imperial house fell, he stripped Lu Yan of her title and brought his beloved back to the palace. Lu Yan fell from her lofty position to that of a condemned noble's daughter, tormented by the very concubines she had wronged. Confined to the cold palace, she found herself in a desperate struggle for survival. Chen, I wish to go home. She crawled towards me, and I finally noticed her broken legs. This was karma, retribution for her past actions. I stepped back as she approached, an unpleasant odor accompanying her. I felt a wave of nausea. Lu Yan looked at me in disbelief. Chen, do you find me repulsive? I sighed, feeling helpless. Lu Yan, this is the path you chose. No, it was the system that compelled me to pursue him. It is all the system's doing. Even now, she continued to deceive me with the system's influence, refusing to acknowledge her own culpability. Unable to contain my frustration, I shouted, the system has only ever communicated with me. After all these years, you still wish to deceive me? Lu Yan faltered, trembling uncontrollably. Her cries were heart-wrenching, as if she sought to purge all her grievances. Chen, I was wrong. I understand my mistakes now. I was momentarily blinded by this life. Yet, my love for you has never wavered. I only wished for you to fare better here. I never imagined you would truly die. She tilted her head back. Sorrow etched across her face. I thought the system was a fabrication. After 5 years, I had relinquished all hope of returning. I believed you were dead. A gust of wind swept through, leaving only Lu Yenna's sobs and the rustling of grass in its wake. I turned my gaze away, devoid of any compassion. Lu Yen, I once offered you a chance. You succumbed to the allure of power. Now that the opportunity is lost, you have no one to blame but yourself. Furthermore, I forgot to mention I am to be married. Her eyes widened in disbelief. How can you be marrying someone? Did you not profess your love for me? She questioned me fervently, each word laced with the accusation of my betrayal. Yet it was she who had cast me aside first. I sneered. I sentí ironic? You have become the very person you once scorned. Lu Yen, despite your betrayal, I still loved you. My presence here was compelled by the system's incessant summons. From now on, you shall fend for yourself. Without hesitation, I turned to leave, only to hear Lu Yan's anguished cries behind me. No, Achin, take me with you. I no longer desire power, nor do I wish for my legs. Just take me home. I love you. Upon our return, I shall marry you. Please, Luchin, you cannot leave. I closed my eyes, ultimately refusing to halt my steps. Upon exiting the cold palace, I anticipated a serene landscape. Yet, the scene before me surpassed even the cold palace in its horror. Palace maids and eunuchs were either fleeing or lying lifeless. The ground was strewn with corpses and blood. System, what has transpired? A coup d'état has occurred. The system replied nonchalantly. The empress brought back by Lien is a spy. The capital is on the brink of upheaval. This place is about to become the next narrative. Narrative? Another quest? Lian's head had been severed and displayed on the city wall. His tyranny had long agitated the discontent of various nations, and the newly appointed emperor was a tyrant in his own right. I was transported back to my original world. Upon awakening, I found Xinqing trying on wedding dresses. She flashed me a sweet smile. You finally woke up? I called you to help me choose a dress, yet you chose to sleep instead. I chuckled, pulling her into my embrace. Forgive me, my dear wife. The company is just starting out, and I am utterly exhausted. I vow, there shall be no next time. Xinqing huffed, and instinctively, I tightened my hold on her. In the years that followed, the system never reappeared, and I soon forgot the days spent in that narrative. The people left behind. Those fleeting memories stirred not even a ripple in my heart. The end. Thank you for listening. Until we meet again in the next story.